Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Taste Budz, where the conversation is real, food is most definitely questionable. I'm Chief Master Sgt. Shawn Andrews, the Command Chief for the 375th Air Mobility Wing and your installation host. Today, I'm so excited. We have a great show planned. We have in our midst the man, the myth, the legend, my boss, our commander, and a great leader, Colonel John Poole.
Oh, thanks. Excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. So I'm not sure if you know what you got yourself into, but have you seen the show before?
I have. So longtime fan. Excited to finally make the cut for the guest list, and looking forward to this for sure.
Great. So we've been talking about your strategic approach and our lines of effort as a wing to get after that for a while. I look forward to unpacking that with our viewers today. But if you've seen the show, you know we don't do any talking about business until we get some food. Oh, chef. Thank you, Chef.
Thanks.
I don't know why, but I've really been looking forward to this moment, boss.
Okay.
I get to play a game with you that we on the show like to call Taste Budz Roulette. Are you a gambling man?
I do calculate risk.
Okay. This game of calculated risk means 2 MREs. We will experience the suck together. 1 MRE, not too bad. 1 MRE, I'm told is horrible. Your risk taking will decide what we eat. So if you can grab that bottle of half-empty
Tabasco
sauce there, yep. Just pop it in the middle, give it a spin, whichever side it lands is closest to. All right, so I will let you do the unveiling.
Mexican style chicken stew.
Ah,
Number 15.
they let you off easy.
I was supposed to say that's could have been a lot worse for sure.
All right, so I'm gonna let you show all of our viewers how easy it is to open up an MRE, and then we'll get after it.
Great. Yeah, I'm looking for the little tear tab instead of trying to brute force this. Like you remember in the '90s that the power team that would come around and they would like rip phone books in half.
Yeah.
And
Get up on stage at your
inflate water bottle, like hot water bottles until they would burst. I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Look at that. There we go.
All right.
That's how you do it, boss.
Give myself a marginal for that.
All right. While you are unpacking the goodness there, do want to talk about what this strategic approach is and lines of effort. I got a question a few episodes back, like
Sure.
why new command team comes in, why do we go change everything and do all of this?
Well, so that's an interesting question. I think if you're doing it right, it doesn't seem like, oh, new team, rip off the old bumper stickers, put on the new bumper stickers. I think it's an opportunity for a command team to come in with a fresh set of eyes and assess where the unit is at and where, again, the world is constantly changing, so where the wing will need to be in the next couple of years, and then make an adjustment to make sure that we can get from where we are to where we need to be in the time allotted. So I would like to think that it's not surface level only and really just changing the slogan, but it really is building the foundation for what we're going to need to be 2 years from now.
No, I think that's good. Are you a fan of the meal ready to eat?
I want to say 2004, so 20 years ago was my last MRE.
Your last MRE was 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's a true
Well,
statement.
boss, I feel privileged that we get to experience like a once in every other decade moment
Yes.
with you.
Well, so the last one, I'll tell you the quick story. On a deployment, they had a DFAC set up in a tent run by a third country. You go through the line, the hot meals that they're serving that day, and then at the end was MREs. And I'm not gonna lie, there were plenty of nights where the MRE was the best deal going. And so that's what you would opt for. And that was my last MRE.
All right.
Until today. Now, you gonna go straight up, or are we trying to do a little Ranger
First
cooking here or
bite,
no?
first bite is always au natural.
All right.
You got to experience, the intended flavor. It's not horrible.
No, this could have been much worse.
Could have been much worse.
So
that's okay. I think we've got other stuff coming.
That's great.
So yeah, I have had countless numbers of MREs in my life, and I'm a firm believer that no matter how bad an MRE tastes, hot sauce saves everything. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this on. My favorite hot sauce in the world comes from Honduras. You're welcome to have some of that if you want.
Absolutely.
And then we'll get back into it. So
you like that?
Oh yeah. At least it's got flavor, but
I'm gonna get all of it in there.
Gosh, now I can't let my boss outdo me. Okay. So over the last several episodes, boss, we've kind of introduced each one of your LOEs. Since I got you here, I'd love to get your overall take on the operational approach, what those LOEs are, and then we'll kind of talk about each one.
Right. So I think you don't come up with lines of effort out of thin air, and you don't. It's all based around solving a problem, right? And then you have a problem. You have the current state, the desired future state that you want to get to, and then the lines of effort are kind of your bridge between what currently exists and what needs to exist, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's how strategy works.
Yep.
So the problem is the world has changed, right? We've got adversaries that are more capable and certainly more emboldened, and the level of preparation, the fight that we've been focused on in Afghanistan and Iraq over the last 20 years is much different. And so we need to change our approach and our preparation for that across kind of all of the roles that Scott Air Force Base would play in any future conflict, right? So the lines of effort themselves, operate the flagship, project forces forward, and seize the competitive advantage, I think apply to everyone. Again, that was another challenge, probably finding something that applied to all the mission sets on the base, not hanging it specifically on one squadron or one group or one niche capability, right? Something that everyone can buy into. And ultimately, the whole unit exists, the wing, the organization exists to fight and win our nation's wars. So everything needs to point back to delivering victory, because that's why we exist as a service.
That's great. Great way to sum that up for our viewers. And finishing on this delivering victory, ultimate goal, end state that we're focused on. So LOE 1, as you take another bite, I think I'm 2 or 3 up on you. LOE line of effort 1 talks about operate the flagship. What is that? What do our airmen need to understand about that? And why is that important?
Okay. Delightful.
You're welcome.
So operate the flagship, right? What most people don't realize about this base is that it is the central hub of the entire Department of Defense logistics enterprise. We have Transportation Command headquartered here. Their operations center monitors ships, trains, trucks, aircraft all over this world, moving military equipment, supplies, or people anywhere in the world. The air arm of that, Air Mobility Command, and the 618th AOC, any aircraft that is airborne, going to be airborne, or has just landed, tracked and monitored from here if they're moving a mobility mission, right? And so when you realize how important that mission is, especially in the United States' ability to move forces east or west, depending on what the crisis or conflict is, we play a central role in that. And so this flagship, if you will, has to be able to operate in all conditions. Good days, bad days, under contested circumstances, degraded, whether that's weather naturally caused, whether that's the adversary trying to thwart our attempts to respond to a crisis that they've generated, right? All of that we've got to make sure, because the entire U.S. military and our allies and partners are relying that we'll be able to respond with global reach. That all starts and is managed from here, and so we've got to be able to operate this flagship under all conditions.
I think.
Go ahead and finish this off here.
I think before we get into LOE 2, how long has it been since you've had jalapeno cheese spread?
The fact that it's not like decomposed back to oil and running out all over the table, like that's not old enough.
You gotta dip into that.
All right.
So we have teased out LOE 2 a couple times. I had the IDO on the show. and she, I got to share her her very first MRE experience with her. But she talked about how we marshal troops and we still push them down forward. We talked about Afrigen a little bit. You actually put deploying airmen, in a sense, in one of your lines of effort and projecting forces forward.
It's great.
You like the cheese spread?
It was fine.
It's good. It's good. So talk to us about LOE2. Why is it important? What does it mean to you? What do our airmen need to know about it?
Right. So in addition to the flagship mission, again, combat coded wing with a deployed mission through the Air Force 4th generation model AF4Gen that's coming online, we have a deployed commitment. We'll have one again under the Air Task Force, which is a new thing that's in development. So we've got that. So we're going to have to send people with new requirements. So we've heard of Ready Airman Training, multi-capable airmen qualifications, all of these things that the Air Force is asking our people to be able to do when they deploy to a forward location. You got to get ready for that. Got to get ready for the environment that we're going to operate in. So we've got to prepare the people that are going to deploy forward, one, but the line of effort, project forces forward, encompasses a little bit more, right? So get people ready, and then there's the people that are left behind here at the flagship that are pushing forces forward, right? So we've got mission partners who will also have to deploy from this base. So we've got to make sure that our IDO and the deployment operation, the LRS is able to get everyone their gear and get them off station. The East-West link, again, as additional elements flow from the East Coast to the West Coast, let's say. So again, more than just our going to a deployed tasking, so much more goes into being able to project forces forward from this location.
Good. No, that's a great summation there. And I think I heard you kind of say like it boils down to we always have to be ready, right? And I definitely want to unpack more of that with you. But briefly, seize the competitive advantage. What is that all about?
Seize the competitive. Okay, so again, once we've operated the flagship, that's in good order. We've projected forces forward. Again, always looking for the next edge to get on the adversary. So a couple of the space has been known for innovation with Scott Pass, with the small UAS, various efforts. So we want to continue those efforts, and then also look for any new opportunities, again, to gain an edge. So with one of those, probably one of the most important ones is warrior culture, right?
Yes.
The mindset, because that's the kind of the foundation that feeds it all. And if you can build a true warrior culture, you're always going to be preparing and be ready. You're always going to be looking for the advantage. You're always going to be running to the sounds of the gun, right? And so that's what we want to build here. And again, over the last 20 years, being focused on being the showcase wing, headquarters support, but the conflict, the adversaries have changed. So we need to be ready for that environment, and so it's going to take a warrior's edge. So the last command team, Chief Blunt, Colonel Robinson, did a good job of first steps forward in that direction. The first flyaway exercises that the wing had done in years, but now we need to expand upon that and ingrain that in our people. So that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
That's good. You talked about that.
What
mentioned
is that?
So this is a nutritious energy bar, and I would encourage you to dive into that. It's a little dry, but
put this in my body.
a little dry, but it is nutritious. So you mentioned this warrior culture thing, and I'm huge on that, as you know, boss. One of the things we introduced here at the new year was Readiness Day. And we had a hard time getting the point across to some of our, maybe the older heads that were used to wing training days. But we really had a readiness warrior culture focus on this. We just finished our first Readiness Day. What are your thoughts on it? Maybe some key takeaways, or what has you excited about Readiness Days moving forward?
Right. So you're right. Like always before training days, right? They'll sign on the office door at the most inconvenient times. Oh, sorry, closed for training. You question if those organizations are really truly training, or are they just screwing around. This is an opportunity, and again, probably like synchronizing those efforts, right? A good example, our med group and the elements from the clinic have some pretty hardcore, like combat casualty care triage, mass cal kind of efforts that they've got to practice for. So they can't see patients and do that. Our AE squadron also has some similar elements. So being able to shut down for a day and both come together to work together as you would in a real crisis, right, is a valuable opportunity, and they get a lot out of being able to clear the schedules to be able to work together. And then for us, I think there's this element of we need to be mentally ready, physically ready.
Yes.
In addition to our skills.
That mind-body craft we hear about.
That's right. That's right. And so, again, starting to become comfortable being uncomfortable,
Yeah,
I think is
I like
an important thing, right? So, opportunities to get after that and build grit.
So we did a mental session with Lieutenant Colonel Grossman came out and talked to us, fantastic speaker, and we're going to have him throughout the year. Right. And then we released him to the squadrons. Squadrons got after craft, and then we finished up with a warrior run that I think it was just a taste of what's coming, right? Do you want to tease out for our viewers anything that might be coming in the future?
It is, right. So like, didn't want to dump anyone into the deep end if they don't know how to swim yet. Right. So start small and big. So we're going to do a wing ruck march. I know that's not something typically the Air Force does. You'll learn a lot about yourself, though, as you push through that. We talked about, I don't know about combatives, where we're going to learn chokeholds and necessarily all of the stuff that the Army would do, but certainly getting in the ring in a red man suit and having to physically fight an opponent for a period of time. Again, if you've never been in a fight, you're going to learn a lot about yourself for sure.
So what I'm hearing is we're going to get progressively harder, and every month at Warrior or Readiness Day, we're going to do some kind of Warrior event.
True statement.
To get after the physical component.
Absolutely, and then culminating in a Warrior Challenge, where it's a day-long event with teams competing, for a Squadron Cup or something like that.
Okay.
We're still working out the details of it, but again, it'll be unlike anything that's ever happened on Scott Air Force Base. I can guarantee that.
I think the Taste Budz crew needs to get a team together.
That'd be, yeah.
I think we can probably make that
forklift driving, building pallets, shooting targets.
Yeah.
Combat casualty care.
Eating MREs.
There'll be that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So before I let you go, boss, this is the new year. I got to ask, any personal, professional kind of goals for the year? I don't really want to say New Year's resolutions because no one finishes a New Year's resolution. But what do you hope to see this year? Maybe one thing in your professional life as the commander of the wing, and then maybe a couple things in your personal life. Let the viewers know a little bit who you are.
Right. That's good. That's a good way to kind of split it out. I think on the professional front, right, more than anything, get around to the units more. I know we were just with structures the other day over in CE. Did a roof inspection, got to bend some metal. Again, getting out, visiting airmen, learning what they do, learning what they're up against on their day-to-day. Being a career C-130 pilot, I don't really know or have not been exposed to everything that goes on an installation, but I always learn something every time, and so looking forward to more of that.
Okay, and on the personal front?
So I'm a dad. For those of you who don't know, I got 3 kids. My oldest is a senior in high school, is about to go off to college this summer. And so I think on the personal front, just spending as much time with him, with kind of the family before, I know he'll still be part of the family. When he goes off to college, like he'll be able to come home, but it is going to be different. And so you don't want to look back on that time and think, man, you missed out on spend a little bit more time. We have a family goal where we're working through going to all of the major league ballparks.
Really?
In baseball, right? So we've been to 25 out of 30. We've got 5 left. I've got a plan so far for four remaining before he goes off to school. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we're working towards that. So that'll there's always neat experiences and an opportunity or an excuse to go travel and see parts of the country that you wouldn't normally otherwise. And so always a good time. So yeah, we're grinding through that, and hopefully we'll be Stadium Quest complete by the end of the summer when he leaves for college.
You guys heard it here first. Your wing commander is a normal dude. He just happens to have to make hard decisions and eat amazing MREs with his chief. So, sir, I want to say thank you for coming on. Thanks for taking the time out of, I know what your busy schedule looks like, to come out here and share some time with us. I hope you enjoyed the MRE. First one in 20 years.
Yeah, so compliments to the chef. And then also, I'll acknowledge the role of luck and chance in this encounter, and seems like fortune favored us. This was not the worst option possible. So,
well,
better luck to you in your future.
That's right. I do hope it tickled your taste buds. I know we enjoyed having you here. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you next time.